I've been trying to write this script for about a year now. The idea is always there, but rarely do I have the wherewithal to finally just say it. So here it is, a video about the way people think sometimes and approach situations. This isn't a psychology course, far from it in fact. This is an observation in large-scale trends more than anything precise. It's a look at what I've noticed and how others want to approach a situation, as well as a way for you to approach the situation you find yourself in when writing your next great American role-playing game or anywhere else you happen to be from. To put it lightly, people have three primary brains. These act as filters for thoughts, ideas, priorities. Now, we're going to go through each of them, but we prioritize certain ones far more than others. Games that satisfy one may neglect another one, emphasize one other, and find itself lacking in a completely different category. When you're designing your game, your own biases will come through, but understand what you're looking for and what others may be looking for, just maybe, will help you out. Obviously, we need something to help explain some of these things, so this is Blood Legacy, a game about manly men with comically large swords fighting equally large monsters. The first and most primal brain in question is the primal monkey brain. Monkey brain likes three things: big number go up, big number go down, and of course, success. The primal monkey brain is a direct application and belief. There's a staunch refusal for it to actually understand anything deeper than a number go up, a number go down, and that's something that everybody experiences in some capacity. If I were to present you with two options, an attack that deals 10 damage and an attack that deals 100 damage, you're obviously going to be picking that 100 damage one, right? That's your monkey brain saying, ooh, click the big number. This extends to most facets of a system as well. Are there attributes? Having the best attribute is the ideal outcome. Are there skills? Having the best skills and the goal of the adventure. Weapons have to deal the most damage. Armor has to protect the most damage. Spells must be larger. Everything must have a more direct effect. This chimp event is direct but focused. How do I do with the most with what I have? Now, this doesn't mean our King Kong thoughts are stupid. On the contrary, I'd call this brain direct. Everything we do is filtered through this part of the mind first and can help us understand what we want better. If you need a 10 up to succeed on a d20, okay, yeah, you can immediately do that math. It's a 50-50. Need 20 up on a d20? Hard, yes, me no like math that bad good. A basic example of this would be from the Muv-Luv TTRPG, where Rush plus Melee produced the ideal results consistently. There were other options, but why really bother with any of them when a headlong assault with a bonus often proved to be the best choice? On the plus side, Ape Strong can see the bullshit. It's easy to get caught up in the muck and decide to add a convoluted options and things to a system, because more must mean better, right? Our primate mind cuts the bullshit and finds that golden path. You can have pages of utility options, but when there's the win action when that's available, fuck the rest. On the other hand, these things have a way of ignoring other avenues. It could remove the desire to try other things when the direct way has been found, or lead to frustration when trying to take the direct path leads to obviously worse outcomes consistently. In Blood Legacy, for example, monkey brain design dictates the best way to approach a situation is directly. Swinging our blade may do 20 damage to an enemy. Simple, but we're going to be building the entire game around those basic concepts. More options, more equipment, to maximize our numbers and minimize unnecessary options. If it's not feeding into our primary goal of swinging our giant sword faster, harder, or more efficiently, it's not actually worth doing. To directly contrast the primal monkey brain is our ancient lizard brain, a part of our subconscious that seeks out patterns and paths of goals. To put it simply, the ape takes the path with chest hair, the lizard takes the optimized course. This is the second filter where most options go through, with people looking for ways to exploit or find the little intricacies in the options presented. Anytime someone mentions a build of some variety, that's a lizard person speaking. They're finding options that synergize with one another other, because synergy is the name of the game for this one, baby. Now, let's take our example from earlier. Let's say you have the two options, a 100 damage attack or a 10 damage attack. But let's say that 10 damage attack actually attacks 3 times. Alright, though it's only 30 damage. But what if you also had the ability that procced every time you attack to add a stack of bleed to the target? Suddenly, it's not just 100 damage versus 10 damage, it's 100 damage versus 10 times 3 plus 3 stacks of bleed. Of course, if you take the Bloody Rain perk, all bleed stacks you deal enemy are doubled, or deal more damage, or, well, you see the situation. They see connections to a result rather than just the result. And everything will be a target to them. They'll see feats that give other abilities. They'll be find values and odd abilities that give them plus X to this, but since they have another ability, it's now triple the value with an additional effect. Finding these little connections and ties is what gives them purpose and satisfaction. However, this does lead to one issue: obsession. When the lizard finds their obsession, they'll go all in on it. Suddenly that build, that avenue, that exploit becomes everything, hinging on how the rules are dictated and effects it produces. The word technically becomes lexicon to keeping things moving. This can be a boon to design, as they want to find connections, and leaving those connections sprinkled around allows you to feed the lizard just as much as keep them distracted. But if you ever heard the phrase, players will optimize the fun out of any game, they are firmly leveling the hammer at our reptilian brothers. They will optimize. They will climb Monty Cook's ivory tower with 2 hands, and they will fall apart if it's poorly written or misrepresented in some capacity. Everything hinges on that idea, but they may find themselves so heavily invested in one aspect that they'll ignore more direct responses, or they'll compromise the integrity of a character for that bonus, which will ruin their fun in the long run if they realize that their fun isn't actually being supported by the GM at all. In Blood Legacy, to appeal to the lizard-minded, abilities and status effects play a pretty large part of working together, allowing the characters to decapitate enemies faster, abusing systems for not only positioning, but bleeds, poisons, and any other intricacy to get those minor bonuses, but without overpowering any aspect of the game. Our third brain is the shortest and least complicated, but one that's the most difficult to wrangle. The philosopher, the thespian, the artiste. There are many names for this kind of people, but the final, most important, critical filters of a player and their character, as it's about their character. If you've noticed, actually, I haven't really talked about the character much in these previous brains, as truth be told, the character is just a vehicle for them to reach their goal as fast as possible, or to employ the build in some capacity. To the philosopher, however, they're making a real character, one with tragedies, victories, nuances, and all the other shit. Every action, every choice, every stat, every item, everything feeds into making that character better and better. For example, if I announce that my character is a noble warrior from Falconia, a primal monkey wants to make sure that they hit harder, survive longer, and do things better. Ancient Lizard wants to perfect his finesse and vitality markup by taking up the Lineage of Knights bonus, which gives him that sweet +2 to swords and immediate access to all the knight skill trees. The philosopher, however, has already written a backstory about their tragic upbringing and desire for revenge against their rivals. Do you see a small difference between these three? No, these guys are great when you're actually playing. They're in character and interacting with the world. They're creating situations and they have motivations which will need wrangling lest they become a main character or run divergent to the story you want to tell, but baby steps. And there's an age-old debate of optimized versus unoptimized characters already, as they will take abilities that are thematic even if they're not the best option. For example, our 100 damage, 10 damage 3 times with bleed query above would need a third option to deal 20 damage with a flourish. It's thematically appropriate to take it, but maybe it's not good in any capacity to take it. These are the easiest to account for, as all you need to do is integrate those thematic options into the deck. They can be optimal and they can be appropriate, but every character is different, and if they don't play the character they want to play, or, well, they may not enjoy playing anything. Blood Legacy deftly avoids this by shoehorning a majority of the characters into a few different archetypes, with all their own abilities, skills, and actions being part of those broad character types. However, if they aren't vibing with those particular ideas of big men and bigger swords, well, disaster may strike. I somewhat lied to you. There is a fourth brain, one far more impossible and dangerous, something unknowable, unfortunate, and unfortunately human. Chaos Brain is the phenomenon that you, the designer, can never really control outside the broadest approaches, because I'll give you a single sentence to summarize the Chaos Brain. I don't like it. Absolutely annihilated. We've been flummoxed, bamboozled, and quite possibly destroyed trying to pitch whatever the hell that game is to this person. They just don't like it? But why? But how? Well, truth be told, there can be a myriad of reasons what triggers this, but often it's previous experiences falling into two categories: surface and embedded. Surface experiences are fairly recent. They've just finished watching Yellow Jackets, are now in the mood for some survival drama. They've just played Starship Troopers and now are ready to do their part. Or they've just been subjected to enduring Darling in the fucking Franxx and now refuse to look at mechs for a while. These experiences or beliefs can be changed, they may fade or even become embedded with time, but they are there though, now. Embedded experiences are a bit deeper and they won't go away. I don't like anything dark fantasy is broad and it'll have some issues if you do try to get them to do anything dark fantasy related. They just won't engage with it as much as someone who's going to tackle you and declare, I fucking love dark fantasy. Now, I'd be remiss not to mention that there are some things which are a bit deeper than just media franchises or anything like that. This isn't the place for it, but understand that people are complex beasts with their own desires and issues. But at its core, Chaos Brain is on the player, what they want to engage with, how they engage with it, and what kind of ideas they are bringing to the table with this baggage. You can make a masterclass RPG with great ideas, deep mechanics, direct applications, and strong themes, but people may just not want to deal with it because it just doesn't suit them. The person doesn't like it, or the person may be obsessed with it. This can even extend to parts of a system, such as a hatred for metacurrencies, or just not liking the dice system. Anything can set off those I like bells, which will influence the results of if a player will engage with it. Chaos Brain cares little for your bullshit, and there's no way to control it outside capitalizing off of recent trends or targeting more embedded experiences, or just writing something weird enough that people don't know what to think about it. Blood Legacy is clearly a darker fantasy game, but a more accurate statement would be it's a grindhouse fantasy with overt sense of amusing grimness to everything, drawing upon more influences such as Berserk, Bastard, and HYIIK, as well as a little bit of Monster Hunter. Big men, big swords, and even larger nasties to decapitate with said swords. This won't appeal to everyone, far from it, but I'm not everyone, and it's vibing with me. Overall, each of these four brains have something they add to the universal experience of writing, playing, and understanding a tabletop role-playing game. Going in with a strong monkey brain may neglect more nuanced aspects, while approaching things with a dozen options all interlocking may confuse players who aren't seeing it in your particular way. On the other hand, accommodating each of these main three can lead to more players enjoying what's being put down, as well as having them engage with what's there. Probably the most important and difficult part of any of these role-playing games. You can't control every aspect of what a player is doing, but you can control how, where, and when they are going to interact with your game their way. There isn't a universal right answer, and there's no system survives contact with players should it occur, so all you can do is write it down, hope for the best, and understand what you like as well as what your audience may like. My name is Notepad Anon, and this was So You Want to Make a TTRPG Episode 5. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the plutocrats as always. Godspeed, good luck, and please keep your heads on straight.